Hey partners, today we're going to be going on a little cool, unique adventure because I don't know how many people know about this. I definitely didn't know about this on my first playthrough. Do you see this cargo right here that's always next to this junk dealer? When you come over here, you see this stuff that's sitting outside and it says that it's contaminated cargo. But look at the bottom of a crater lake is the ideal disposal location. So I don't think this is supposed to be a secret, but for some reason I just never knew about this or didn't pay attention. So let's go ahead and deliver this together, and I think it would just be a fun little journey to go on. But I just found out today that TJ Rotolo, the voice actor who does Frank West from Deadrising, he also does a bunch of great voices that I love. Did anyone ever watch Martin Mystery? I just found out that a voice actor for Deadrising 1 was not asked to come back and retain the role for the remake. We'll never know why, honestly. It's probably one of those things where, you know, Deadrising came out in 2006 and it's 2024, so it's been, you know, about 18 years since the first game came out. I doubt that very many people who worked on Deadrising 1 are coming all the way back to work on the remake. Companies like that, they don't really see Deadrising 1 and the remake as being the same thing. It's more like the Deadrising remake is like the 5th or 6th Deadrising game. You have Deadrising 1, Chop Till You Drop, which is the Wii version, which I think is the same as the mobile version. Maybe it's different. You've also got Deadrising 2, Deadrising 3, Deadrising Off the Record, Deadrising 4. I'm not saying them in order at this point anymore, but... And the reason why I'm talking about this is not really necessarily to complain, although I will say it sucks that he's not coming back, but it didn't seem like from his tweet or whatever that, you know, there's any, like, ill will or bad blood or anything. It's one of those things where it's like they're probably just... honestly didn't think that anyone cared, which is funny because there was a lot of backlash with Deadrising 4 and not bringing back TJ Rotolo as Frank. I guess they thought because that was a few years ago no one cares anymore, but people do care. Now I'm not really tripping that TJ Rotolo's not coming back. I mean, I'm sad, you know, because I love his voice, and because he sounds like he's from California. Even if he's not, it's kind of nice to just hear another person that sounds like me. I know we don't need more California, like, West Coast representation or anything like that, but, you know, his delivery as Frank was great. What is the word I'm looking for? He had that sort of like, I've covered wars, you know. He kind of sounds like that. I know I'm not very articulate, but one thing that I will say is it got me kind of thinking about another game where they removed the main voice actor. And this instance I was upset. It was Bayonetta. For Bayonetta 3, they refused to bring back Helena Taylor, who has a very distinct voice, cadence, delivery, and I think an authentic British accent. Demanded to be paid not very much. Like, by voice actor standards, she was just asking for a living, and Nintendo replaced her. And that's what happens with voice actors constantly. But does it happen with male voice actors? Because in my experience, TJ Rotolo is one of the biggest examples. Normally it happens to women, like Helena Taylor, or the woman who voiced Flanders' wife, you know? What I wanted to say is that voice acting, I know a lot of us see stuff and think we can do it, like voice acting and writing and stuff like that, like the writer's strike. When someone is talented, like Helena Taylor, TJ Rotolo, we should appreciate them. But the classic problem with life is that it's hard to know what you have until it's gone, you know? And so that's how I felt. Bayonetta 3, I've only played once. I have not replayed it like I have Bayonetta 1 and 2. And the gameplay is part of that, although the gameplay is not bad. It's actually a little bit better, I think, than Bayonetta 2 in some areas. Overall, I think it's worse. And a huge part of why Bayonetta 3 is worse is because it doesn't have Helena Taylor. You know, a lot of little things add up to make a product, to make a piece of art, like a movie or a show. It's like how they took Steve Carell out of The Office. People are like, that killed The Office. But to be honest with you, the reason why it happened is because The Office was going down in viewership, but they made enough money where, hey, we might as well cut Steve Carell. He's costing us the most money. It makes more sense to get rid of him and get out some shitty episodes. And I don't think that was the case with Bayonetta 3, and it's definitely not the case with Deadrising 1's remake. You know, Capcom is doing very well right now. Very well. A lot better than their Resident Evil 5 days. And so, at this point, I don't think that there's anything wrong with them replacing TJ Rotolo. I would prefer for him to stay, but it's been 2 decades. It's not been 5 years. A lot of people online are obsessed with nostalgia and refuse to move on. It's like, hey, Matthew Lillard is having trouble doing Shaggy's voice now. So maybe we shouldn't force him to keep doing it if he can't. Helena Taylor was clearly taken advantage of by Nintendo. They clearly didn't want to pay her and be like, Jennifer Hale, can we sign you on for $300 instead of going with the OG for $400 or $350. Jennifer Hale is not at fault here either. She's not a scab, right? That's not how this shit works. When I was younger, I really wanted to be a voice actor. I used to do impressions and all kinds of stuff like that. Even at this point in my life, I understand that being a teacher is better money. And, you know, that's the sad fact. I mean, it's not really that sad, but it's like, everyone thinks that, hey, I can read lines and voice act, but it's not easy at all. It is a skill. Same thing with writing. I love Death Stranding, and this game has some of the worst dialogue I have ever seen in my life. And I mean objectively. It's dialogue that doesn't inform characters, move the plot forward, build a vibe. Why is this dialogue happening? To get us invested in these characters, or to understand what they're thinking or feeling, to progress the plot, to make us feel a certain emotion? It does none of that. It's just what Kojima thinks is interesting. Explaining things that Kojima thinks needs to be explained. This game is the epitome of do some gameplay, watch a cutscene that's unrelated, and then if you skipped a cutscene in this game, even if you don't skip the cutscene, someone calls you afterward and just explains what you just saw. Like the whole last hour of this game is just watching cutscenes and Die Hard Man being like, did you know that this guy, Clifford Unger, was the first person to have a baby? It's like, no, that's crazy. I just watched this fucking cutscene. Well, I just skipped it. How did you know? That was such a fun trip, going and dropping off. I'm at the wrong place. But guess what? That junk dealer kind of sucked because that mission did nothing for us. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I really do love playing this game and talking to you guys. Sometimes I don't have the energy to live stream, so I'll just make this a little clip and we'll set it up for you. Hey. Whoa. Whoa, he's playing while standing. I've never seen this before. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, if you liked listening to me, please leave a like or a comment for the algorithm. This is my passion and my hobby, so I would love to be supported in my endeavor. Does anyone know how to make him play the harmonica while walking, or is it random? Thank you, Stinkers. You guys mean everything to me. I really appreciate everything you do, spending time here and sharing your time and giving me views. See you later, guys.